The harrowing final moments of a BBC star's family have been revealed in court after they were murdered by a crossbow killer. Desperate screams were heard as Kyle Clifford carried out extreme acts of violence against his ex, Louise Hunt, 25, her mum, Carol, 61, and sister Hannah, 28. The 26-year-old has pleaded guilty to 3 counts of murder, a charge of false imprisonment, and 2 counts of possession of offensive weapons. But Clifford, who is not attending the trial, has denied raping Louise on July 9th, the same day the family was slaughtered at their home in Bushey, Hertfordshire. Cambridge Crown Court was told the killer had tricked his way into the home after claiming to Carol that he wanted to give Louise her belongings back following their breakup. At around 2:40 p.m, screams and banging sounds were heard as Carol, who was married to BBC racing commentator John, was brutally attacked 5 times with a knife, the court was told. Jurors heard Clifford then move the mum's body to a snug room and use various blankets to cover her up. Louise then entered the home through the back door at 4:12 p.m. after working her dog grooming business in the garden. Prosecutor Alison Morgan KC said a minute later a faint scream/shout was heard coming from the home. This was followed by a high-pitched scream at 4:26 and then banging noises as Louise was restrained using tape as she was silenced and left unable to fight back, she added. Ms Morgan said the prosecution alleges that the defendant raped Louise Hunt at some point during this period and whilst she was being restrained by him. It's not possible to say where the restraint and rape took place within the property, save that Louise must have been in the snug somewhere Carol's body was located, facing away from the defendant at the time that she was murdered with the crossbow. The court heard Louise was restrained and gagged for more than 2 hours, during which time Clifford messaged her dad from her phone, asking when he was going to be home. He also searched about smoke alarms on Louise's phone, in what the prosecution said, along with 2 empty petrol cans in the boot of his car, suggested he contemplated burning evidence. At 6:50 p.m, a loud whooshing sound was heard, which was the sound of the crossbow being fired to kill Louise Hunt, Ms Morgan said. Tragically, at the same time, Hannah arrived back at home and asked her mum, "You don't know how to use your phone," unaware both Carol and Louise had been murdered. She then realised Clifford was inside the home and asked him, "Kyle, I swear to God, what the Kyle, I swear to God." The court heard Hannah was then heard screaming, "Oh my God," before yelling, "What the is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?" At 6:52 p.m, she bravely managed to message her partner to tell him to call the police as Clifford was there and tying us up, jurors were told. 2 minutes later, another whoosh was heard, which jurors were told is believed to have been Clifford firing the crossbow at Hannah. As he fled the home armed with the weapon, she was heard to utter, "Mum, Louise," before screaming, "Oh my God, no." Hannah called 999 at 6:57 p.m, despite her horror injuries, to tell officers that Clifford had attacked her, Louise and Carol. When police arrived, they discovered Hannah collapsed in the doorway and Louise's body bound in the snug next to her mum's body. Jurors heard Clifford and Louise had been in a relationship, but she'd broke up with him in June 2024 due to his nasty temper. He'd also had secret relationships with 2 other women behind Louise's back, including one still ongoing at the time of the horror, the court heard. In the days that follow, the killer bombarded her with messages that were rebuffed by his ex, jurors were told. As his resentment grew towards Louise and her family, who had advised her to end the relationship, he hatched the carefully planned and executed plot, the court heard. The court heard Clifford spend £357 on a crossbow and 6 bolts and £89 on a high-level butchering knife from Amazon, it was said. The security worker also wrote a note to his family saying he did not want to live without her and went to Tool Station to buy rope and to B&Q for duct tape in order to restrain Louise. Jurors heard on the night before the attack, Clifford searched for a video of Wandsworth prisoner officer Linda de Souza Abreu having sex with an inmate on a porn website. He even allegedly searched online to see what racing events were on to ensure John was out of the house and then used deceit on Carol to gain access to the family home. The prosecutor said it is not in dispute that Clifford murdered Carol and her daughters, or that he was in possession of a knife and a crossbow. She added that the killer accepts that he falsely imprisoned Louise Hunt during the course of the incident, restraining her against her will. Ms. Morgan told jurors the only count they must come to a verdict on is the rape charge against Louise. She continued, during the course of this prolonged incident, the prosecution alleges the defendant raped Louise Hunt. It was a violent sexual act of spite before he then killed her. You will have to determine that allegation against him. Clifford denies one count of rape and the trial continues.